Hi, my name is Franklin Allaire, and I'm the State Director for the Hawaii State Science Olympiad. I'd like to welcome you to our basic training series. In this series of videos, we're going to discuss some very important information that both new and seasoned coaches should know about the Science Olympiad program. In this part 1, we're going to get into an introduction as well as talk about some of the basics of the Science Olympiad program. Overall, this is a 5-part series, again with part 1 getting into an introduction and some of the basics of Science Olympiad. Part 2, we talk about some of the basics you should know as a Science Olympiad coach and get into a little bit more detail about some of the events. In part 3, we discuss Science Olympiad tournaments and the scoring that occurs at those tournaments. Part 4, a very important part, is about maintaining your sanity as a Science Olympiad coach, and we'll also take a tour of some of the online resources available to both you and your students. And in part 5, we get into some of the do's and don'ts of working with students. Now before we go any further, a warning. These videos are pretty dense and they have a lot of information in them about the Science Olympiad program, but they are chock full of Science Olympiad goodness. What's nice is that they're videos, and you can of course go back and watch them as many times as you wish, especially if you feel that you may have missed something. But we also want to remind you that if you have any questions about something that's in these videos, or maybe something that isn't included in these videos, please don't hesitate to email us at hisciolympiad@gmail.com. Let's get started. The Science Olympiad program was founded in 1985. With a mission to improve the quality of science, technology, engineering, and math education for K-12 students and teachers throughout the United States. Since its beginnings in 1985, the Science Olympiad program has spread out to include all 50 states, as well as teams representing schools from Canada, Mexico, and even Japan. The Hawaii program was started in 2005. Again with a mission to improve the quality of K-12 science, technology, engineering, and math education in the state of Hawaii. And since our beginnings, we have grown to include schools on Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, Maui, and the Big Island. The Science Olympiad program is divided up into 3 divisions. Division A is for elementary schools, Division B, middle schools, and Division C, high schools. In these videos, we'll be dealing primarily with Divisions B and C. If you'd like to learn more about Division A, elementary school, please visit our website at www.hsso.org and click on the link for Elementary Science Olympiad that you'll see at the top of the page. Now within Divisions B and C, there are 23 events in each division, or 46 events total. Division B and C teams are limited to 15 students that attend that particular school, plus a couple of alternates, just in case the student gets sick or has to drop out of the team. Events are limited to 2 students per team, although there are a couple of exceptions, but this is generally the rule. Again, 2 students per team in a particular event. There are 5 overarching event categories for Science Olympiad, and we'll look at those event categories in just a moment. But in reality, there are 2 basic kinds of structures to events in a Science Olympiad competition. On the one hand, you have what are called task-oriented events. In these events, students will be asked to do something, either at the competition or they'll be asked to construct something and have something ready to bring to the competition. These events include things such as chem lab, experimental design, as well as the engineering events like bridge building, boom-a-lever, and bottle rocket. On the other hand, you have knowledge-based events. And in these events, students are being asked to absorb, process, and be able to use the knowledge that they gain in a particular field of study and be able to apply that knowledge at an event at a Science Olympiad competition. Now again, Science Olympiad has been around for over 30 years now, and in that time it has been lauded as a model program for science, technology, engineering, and math education. And it's been recognized by organizations such as the National Governors Association as well as the National Science Teachers Association. In fact, in NSTA's book, Exemplary Science for Building Interest in STEM Careers, Science Olympiad was the only extracurricular STEM program to be given its own chapter. Now those 5 overarching event categories are life, personal and social science, earth and space science, physical science and chemistry, technology and engineering, and inquiry and nature of science. Within each of these 5 categories, you'll find the 23 events in each division and the 46 events total for any particular year of Science Olympiad competition. Now, I'm not going to bother going through all of the events that are listed on this particular slide, and there's 2 reasons for that. 1, it would just take way too long. And 2, the events change from year to year. So the events that you see on this particular slide may not necessarily reflect the events that are actually being used during a particular year's Science Olympiad competition. But something that's really important to mention to both new and seasoned coaches is that there's no rule that says teams have to participate in every single event. Teams can participate in as many or as few events as they wish at a regional, statewide, and even the National Science Olympiad tournaments. Now, this decision may affect your standings at a particular tournament, but we'll look at that in a little bit more detail in a later presentation. But we feel that it's really important, especially for new coaches and new students, to know that, again, there is no rule saying that you have to participate in anything and everything. You can participate in as many or as few events as you wish at a Science Olympiad tournament. Now, once again, your team is going to be made up to 15 students that are enrolled at your particular school, plus a couple of alternates. Now, if you have a Division C team, that's high school, you have a maximum of 7 12th graders allowed on your team. If you're fielding a Division B or middle school team, you are limited to 5 9th graders on that particular team. Now, in order to participate in a Science Olympiad competition, you'll need to register your team. To register, you'll need to go online to our website, www.hsso.org. There is a one-time registration fee of $100. This fee covers entrance to regional, statewide, and national Science Olympiad tournaments. So regardless of the level of competition that your school team advances to, Science Olympiad will never ask you for another registration fee during that particular school year. This fee also gets your team 1 coach's and teacher's rules manual, as well as a 1-year membership to the Hawaii Science Teachers Association, our local branch of the National Science Teachers Association. Your team must register to participate in any one regional tournament. And this particular year, we have 6 to choose from. Tournaments on Hawaii Island, 3 on Oahu, 1 on Maui, and 1 on Kauai. Now, we do allow schools to field up to 2 teams maximum in any particular division. If your school chooses to field 2 teams, both teams must register to compete within the same regional tournament. Now, remember I mentioned that there's a one-time registration fee of $100. If you choose to register a second team, you must go online and register that second team separately, but the registration fee will only be $80. Well, that's going to cover it for this first video. Again, if you have any questions about anything that was covered in this particular video, please don't hesitate to email us at hisciolympiad@gmail.com. Coming up next will be video part 2, Coaching 101, and the events for Science Olympiad.